And hello, everyone. Bo Williams. It is time for Soccer Talk, as we do every Thursday, as we talk one Knox soccer. And man, we're excited to look ahead to what's coming up after a little bit of a break.
Absolutely, yeah. A little bit of time for rest and recuperation, maybe for us as analysts and the team as well, I imagine. But we're going to hit the ground for a busy April and new competition that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But yeah, a lot of exciting stuff to look forward to.
All right, Drew McKenna from One Knox joins us right now. Glad to have you here, first of all.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
I tell you what, let's just talk about the start. Great league play, off to a 3-0 start. You got the coach of the year, coach of the month, you've got a player of the month. I mean, everything just seems to be rolling your way right now.
Yeah, tough to complain about undefeated. That's good. So, yeah, really happy with the start. I think one of the exciting things is we still don't feel like we've played our best ball. We still feel like there's another level to it. We've got kind of way too many injuries right now and a couple players that haven't even played for us yet that we're really excited about. So, great start, really happy about it, but, got to keep rolling.
Good stuff.
Drew, like we said, Mark McKeever are the newly anointed Coach of the Month, and Angelo Kelly just named Player of the Month today. So, yeah, these are some players that have been here, since the first professional season last year. How awesome is it to see, some original contributors kind of get their flowers?
No, it's huge, and it's not an accident, right? Like something that we're really benefiting from this year is continuity. Last year we had 22 guys that had never played pro ball together. This year we've got 12 of that group returning, including our head coach and one of our assistants. So you have a base to build off, and I certainly didn't appreciate last year how hard it is without that base. And so one of the reasons we've been able to improve is because we got some continuity.
I was going to say, the flow of the game, when you're watching it, and when you're looking at some of the numbers, it really does tell the story. You talked about Kelly. You mentioned him. I mean, as far as goals scored, assists, he's up there. But when you look at chances created, Kelly has 11, but right behind him, as far as the league is concerned, at number 2 is Stuart Ritchie. So you've got guys from the back, from the front. Callum Johnson's also done a great job. Players all over the field. It's just not like one guy. I mean, these guys are working as a single unit. Like you said, this kind of goes back to the fact that a lot of these guys know each other.
Yeah, last year this time, every one of our 25 players was trying to learn the system and trying to figure out how that other person next to him plays. We started in February this year with 12 guys who knew it in and out and could coach the 10 new guys about their role inside the system. So it wasn't everybody listening to the coach trying to figure it out. It was having 12 coaches at practice coaching each other. And so that level of comfort with each other and with the system is so much higher this year, and we're benefiting from that.
Yeah, definitely shows.
I'm curious about the 12 base has obviously been critical for this successful start. But as far as those new players that you bring in, now that you've had a couple windows where you are doing some recruitment, is there kind of like a profile, like a guy that you look at who's like, this is a one Knoxville player?
Yeah.
Is there a type of player that you are looking for?
Yeah, great question. So I'll give you two differing answers on that. You mentioned Stuart Ritchie. So our wing backs, right? We often play 3 center backs. Our wing backs got to be fast, and they got to want to play up the field. If you have a wing back that wants to pretty much be another center back, not quite as strong for our system. Stuart is dynamic on the ball and super fast, and so when we saw him, we said, that's our guy. If we can get him, he's going to be a lockdown starter, and he's been great. And then there's someone like Innocent and Shooty, right? So we thought, hey, this is an in-behind 9 who can make the runs, big body, but he's a true target striker. And he can do that. But in the Open Cup game, we played him on the wing, and he was dynamic. We had no idea. So sometimes you got to get the guys in the system and see how it works out.
Along with that, though, you talked about the great start and how this team is gelling, but you've had a little bit of a break, and you did. You came out like gangbusters. It seemed like every time we turned around, there was another game. What's the team been doing? Did it come? I know it's early in the season, but did it come at a good time right now to maybe catch your breath for a second?
Yeah. So the bad news of the early weeks has been injuries.
Yeah.
So the Open Cup game again last Wednesday, we only played 15. One of them was Leo Santos, who we love, but he's a high schooler. So we are a little bit light from injury. So having that time to get healthy has been really, really good. So we're back to 18 for this weekend, which is awesome. But yeah, it's been a lot of injury rehab, a couple days away from the field. But Omaha's a big game, so we're ready for that.
No doubt. When whether I'm reading about these new players that have come in or the kind of existing group, it seems like a lot of them have previous interactions with head coach Mark McKeever. What is it about maybe his managerial style or just the kind of guy he is that makes it seem like all these players want to come back and work with him again?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, the first thing is he's been at it for a really long time, right? This is his first time as a pro coach, but he's been placing kids in the pros, men in the pros for 20 years now. And so he's got this unbelievable network of players he's coached in college or coached in League Two. So there's that. And the second thing is, he just really elicits a really strong loyalty from the players that he works with. And so, Ilya Illich's example, Angelo Kelly's an example, Siebert Hogley's an example. These guys weren't in League One, and each of those three said, "I'm only coming to the league if I'm playing for Mark." And so that's kind of been a big driver of it.
You mentioned Omaha coming to town. This is a team, you look at them in the standings, you're thinking, well, they're sitting 7th. What's going on? But they've only played one league game. But this is a team that has really torn it up in the cup games. They've outscored their last 2 opponents 7-1 right now. But you were talking before we went on, they haven't lost a league game since, July of last year. So, this is a tough test coming up for us on Friday night.
Yeah, they're a great team. Won the regular season last year. The end of the season, they were literally unbeatable. So a great test for us. Too early to know who's the best in the league and who's the worst in the league. We're near the top. Hope we stay there, but they're certainly going to be in the top half of the league at the end of the season. They're dynamic. So big test for us, but we're excited about it.
And just to follow up on that real quick, the teams you've played so far, Charlotte is starting to kind of pick it up a little bit here now, but obviously Lexington, South Georgia, these are teams in the top half of the table. You're playing teams that if the season were in today, they're going to the playoffs. Says a lot about what you have been able to do, again, with a tough match coming in, but you've squared up well against some pretty fine competition so far.
Yeah, the goal is always 3 points, but we also feel like we've been the better team. We feel like we've earned our victories, and goal differentials there to support that. So we do feel good about where we're at right now. We're also very aware that we're 3 games into the season, so more to go.
And another thing to look forward to that game, as we saw in the beginning,
fingers.
We've got our one Knoxville foam fingers
There you go.
ready to go. The team's going for a world record, the most foam fingers waved at one time. Just tell us about how this came about, and
We
how
sit
excited
around
you
the
guys for
table
tomorrow.
and just kind of throwing ideas out.
Yeah, it was a little bit of that.
Yeah.
First of all, since one Knoxville, we've had this
Of
thought
course.
that who should own foam fingers more than one Knoxville, right? This should be ours. Hadn't put anything to it yet. So in the off season we were just hucking around ideas about how to make interesting, dynamic events that are obviously soccer oriented, but not all soccer. And is there a world record around foam fingers? Shockingly enough, there was one. We said, let's go break it. So, nothing too romantic about the story, but really excited about the opportunity.
And is there a little extra something for one person
There is,
with the foam fingers?
Yes. So I don't know if you're a Zach Bryan fan.
Yeah, sure.
I'm a big Zach Bryan fan. He's playing Townsend Bowling Arena in early May. One of these foam fingers will have a couple Zach Bryan tickets inside
Nice.
it. So make sure you're checking your foam finger when you get in.
Yeah, be careful. Yeah, I pulled up a Ticketmaster just because if some people aren't maybe familiar with how in demand these tickets are, it really is incredible, the demand for these one Knox tickets.
Oh, wow.
Let's see, we have the Thursday show at Thompson Bowling Arena, but if you're trying to go on Ticketmaster and see these, they are in the $700 range. So this is a really exciting new artist that just hit the scene in the last year or so. I think ACM New Male Artist of the Year. I'm sure Vol fans love, his Grammy-nominated song, "Something in the Orange."
in the
Very
Orange,
fitting,
yeah.
very fitting for Knoxville at large. So quite the incentive for fans to get out and see this undefeated team go for 4 in a row in the league.
Greg, I happen to be quite aware of how expensive that thing is.
No surprises to you there. Yeah, exactly.
You were talking about, just talking about the season ahead in the off season, thinking about stuff like this you can do. I'm just, whenever we need something or for the team, obviously you're the guy that we're talking to, but I'm always just curious about what your, what's your work day like, in the off season, maybe versus, in season day-to-day operations.
Yeah, we jokingly call the off season the on season. Like
really?
everything
Never
we
stops,
do,
right?
everything we do leading into the season has to happen in the off season, because a week like this, almost all of our team's time is oriented towards execution. And so all your planning and thinking and strategy has to happen in that 3 or 4 month off season. So we're busy all the time. We got an unbelievable team that is good at what they do, but also loves being a part of building something meaningful here in Knoxville, and we couldn't do it without them. So, typical week is there is no typical week, but it's a lot of planning and trying to be creative and thinking about how we can be builders.
And speaking of builders and being part of the community, we have seen this organization. It's just not, we see the team, we see the highlights, we see the game. There's so much more going on all the way down to the youth level that you guys have really tried to make that footprint in this area.
Yeah, you'd think I'd be most excited right now about the first team in the performance, which I am.
Sure.
But like the what's happening at the youth level is what I'm most excited about within One Knox. Like the level of development that's happening down there in just 1 year. We think that this is something over a 25-year period can be transformational for the market, just from a soccer development perspective. But also, we're not going to just do that. It's got to be about making soccer equitable. It's got to be about making it available. So this year we've done $115,000 in soccer scholarship. The goal is to be at $250 by 2026. So really aggressively trying to track making soccer, a sport for good across Knoxville.
That's great.
Yeah, we did get to cover a little bit the nonprofit youth programs that really kind of started up in earnest last year, and you've got the Monsters, really the little tykes getting to run around there. How awesome is it to see little kids running around with this team's logo and be a part of this organization?
Yeah, I mean, so personally, it's like the most rewarding. I have 2 monsters of my own, and so getting to be out at last night we were out at practice and seeing my kid just die for a goal, right? It's so cool to see. And he has a little bit. He understands a little bit my connection to One Knox, and so that's fun. But yeah, I mean, in 10 years, that's our customer, right? In 15 years, in 20 years, their kids are in it, right? So that's the cyclical nature of what we're trying to build.
Yeah. Do you sit back sometimes and look around, and you look at the crowd, and you see the field, and you see what's going on out on the field, or you see the youth groups and go, man, I mean, you haven't been around, you haven't been here very long.
Yeah.
It's still a very young organization, and you have accomplished so much. I mean, you still kind of pinch yourself and go, this is something.
You're nice to say it. I think we suffer from high expectations. So at times,
push
yes,
yourselves,
for sure.
Yeah,
exactly, right. You guys, we talked a little bit before about the Old City Stadium. That's such an opportunity for us at the first team side. So it's a lot of work to make sure that we take advantage of that, which is a high bar.
Yeah, and that'll be coming up soon.
Yeah, next season.
Next season. I mean, have you already? How much of that are you already looking ahead to? I mean, I'm sure, like you said, you're planning way ahead of time, even during the summer months, looking ahead to the next season. Are you already focusing some things on that, like when we move over to this place?
Oh yeah.
What we're able to do as far as transferring, whether it's tickets or what we're going to be able to do in here?
Yeah, right before I came over here, it was with our director of ticketing, and we spent about half the meeting talking about what that program will look like to announce, roll out, and onboard season ticket holders for the Old City Stadium. So same thing on the partnership side. What are our assets? Who are we selling to? All that sort of stuff. So, we're 3 games into 2024, but some of our departments are hard at work on 25. Wow.
Until then, though, Regal Stadium, home for once again, a great facility.
Yeah, awesome.
How much of an advantage is it to have access to those great facilities and really one of the nicest, playing surfaces in League One?
Yeah, no, it's not one of the nicest. It's one of the best playing surfaces in the country. So the turf grass management program at UT is literally one of the best in the world. And Zach Lawson, who runs that facility, is a pro. So yeah, it's an honor to get to play on that grass. It's so funny every game watching the visitors see the field for the first time, and then they always check if it's artificial or natural. So yeah, we're spoiled from that perspective, and there'll be so much good about moving into the Old City Stadium. One downgrade will be field surface. We can't beat what we've got with UT. So yeah, we're really lucky.
So no pressure on the ground crew for next year.
Yeah, well, they got to deal with an infield that they're converting.
Well,
so,
that's true.
Yeah, it's a different task.
That is true. Yeah. But definitely, still a lot of soccer to play this season. I mean, like I said, we're very young. Any thoughts moving forward? I mean, obviously for the fans, get out there Friday night. We got to have the place packed. But there's still a lot of soccer to play, and I know also we've got the Jägermeister Cup as well that's coming up. So that's something else that fans may not be aware of, but a whole other competition within the season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Jaeger Cup's a fun one. In the off season, ownership got together and said, hey, we want to make this more oriented towards local regional rivalries. How can we make sure that teams that are close to each other are playing each other a lot to try to build that that good hate? So we split the league up into groups, and we're playing an in-season cup tournament. It's not dissimilar from what the NBA did with their in-season tournament. But for us, we're looking at the map up here. This year it's a League One thing. The plan is to grow this. USL Championship has 25 teams across the country. The plan is to get them involved, make it a cross-league type of deal. So really excited about it. Having Lexington and Chattanooga, 2 more games against them is great.
Yeah, obviously those are the big rivals, the I-75 rivals there, if you will. So yeah, good to see them again and be a good opportunity to beat them again.
Yeah,
that's how we kind of look at it.
Like beating Lexington.
The more opportunities we can to beat them, that even the better. So, well, I appreciate it, man. This has been the season, the way it started. Like I said, we're early, but hopefully things will keep on rolling, and can't wait to see what happens the rest of the campaign.
Thank you. Yeah, we're so grateful for the WAT partnerships. WATE partnership, it means a ton to us, and excited to continue to grow that as well.
And yeah, just a reminder for everyone watching, it's 6:30 tomorrow night,
Yeah.
right?
6:30 Friday, Regal Soccer Stadium.
That's right. You can watch that on channel 6.2 on the Antenna TV. But if you don't have access to that, it is also going to be on the free CBS Golazo network that's streaming, online and on the Paramount Plus app. So that's another opportunity for fans to
Is
get out and
ESPN
watch
Plus
the team.
carrying this one also?
So the ESPN Plus is not. This is
not.
just
This
on
is gonna be
Golazo.
Golazo
Yep,
this time,
exactly.
okay.
So we're mixing up. But the best way to watch the game
in person.
is to be a Regal Soccer
Yeah.
Stadium.
That's right.
And really, let me ask you, because I know we're wrapping it up,
Yeah, you're
but you do have a good atmosphere, and you've got a fan base that brings, if you see it on television, I mean, they're out there, they're loud, they're there.
Yeah.
And that's just part of the atmosphere as well. So
Yeah.
if you're looking to get a part of something like that, again, be out there in person. You can't get it by watching it on television.
The Scruffs, yeah, that's
Yeah.
our supporter group. It's a totally unique experience to soccer. Football and basketball, baseball, they don't have it.
Right.
This group that's totally independent, they're not affiliated with us other than, they love us and we love them. Out there making noise, waving smoke, chanting, singing. Yeah, we're lucky to have them.
Good stuff.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Drew. And yeah, looking forward to doing more stuff like this in the future.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we'll do it again next Thursday. Thanks for watching.